Welcome to Sports Communications Topic 3. This is 3B Reading, Writing and Publications Part 10, where we talk about media kits. Why you should create a media kit, sometimes known as a media pack or a media guide. Pretty much it represents your organisation or your team or whatever your sport is while you're not there. It provides background information, images, all sorts of things like that people can use, branding. And usually it's available on the web. So it's sometimes called reference material or marketing collateral. It can be sometimes used as a revenue stream because you can sell some of the images. It's usually found online, and because of that it's easily updatable, so whenever somebody leaves your organisation you can get rid of the images and put fresh images online, so you don't have to print it. It's reference piece for all interested parties, and traditionally it was always printed. But however, desktop publishing has allowed us to be even more creative and for lots of information to be incorporated, like video. So some examples. Let's have a look at Michael Hyatt, who talks about why we should have a media kit and what should be in it. This is Michael Hyatt's website, and you'll see here he's actually got a sample page that's designed for the press, where somebody can get a clip of a new book this guy's written. They can download the media kit by clicking the download button. There's some trade information about the book. There's a press contact. You can follow the guy by clicking on the Twitter or Facebook or whatever, some background about him. Michael also goes on about the various things that you need to include in an online media kit. Next we're going to have a look at Tourism New Zealand. Tourism New Zealand have a media kit as well, which we'll click on the link and have a look. This is Tourism New Zealand's media kit. You'll see media information cover, contents of what's inside this, a bit about New Zealand tourism per se, then background information about New Zealand and New Zealanders, something about our people, about the natural landscape, and then bits and pieces on New Zealand culture, cuisine, so on and so forth. So this would give anybody who is interested in New Zealand a background on what our country is like. So next we're going to take a look at Style Sample magazine. So this, you'll see the cover. It says something about the magazine itself and gives you some idea of exactly what kind of magazine it is. You have a look further in, it talks about the audience and the types of readership and the volume of readership the organisation has, then the rates and how frequently the magazine is published, and then lastly who this magazine influences, so who might be interested in actually writing for it. So quite a useful media kit in this regard. Now we're going to have a look at Fonterra, seeing that it's a good sized New Zealand company. And this is Fonterra's media, what they call media backgrounder. So you'll see here you can download financial reports, there's some key facts, there's something on their production, a bit about how the company was made, with sales channels, export, and if you go through the consumer brands and what have you, you'll get some more stories about the organisation. So why create one? Favorito talks about the components. You need to have a schedule of what's actually in the kit, contact information for staff, previous year's stats and information, your bio for coaches and players for sports, bios of media relations, members of staff. You need to have a bit about your team history and what your stats have been, your records, how involved you are with the community, where you play from, and any conference information and information on opponents sometimes. Stolt and so on talk about you need to have general information, team and event information, a review of last season and a preview of this season, bit about your history, bit about who your governing body is. You need to have a really funky cover design that matches your brand. You need to think about what your font is. You need to think about the graphics that you include and how up to date they are, the colour, and what photos you have. Everything needs to be up to date, everything needs to line up, and you need to send one message.